Welcome to Business Power Hour. I'm so excited to be back for another episode. We have an amazing guest here today. Michelle, why don't you introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and then we'll just get right into it. Oh, and tell everybody about the gift you have too, because I know they're going to want that too. So make sure to tell them about that.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me. It's so exciting to be here. I've been following your world for a while and just really excited for this conversation. So my name is Michelle.
So excited we got to connect and do something together. That's so fun.
Yes. Well, my official title is Dr. Michelle Reyes, but please just call me Michelle. I'm a culture and business coach. I help businesses maximize their profit and reach with culturally inclusive strategies.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. So, all things to do with culture, diversity, and the business side of things. That's my jam.
Oh, awesome. And Simone just got here too. So I'm really excited. So that I can't wait to talk to you. That is amazing. And then tell everybody about the free gift you have for them.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to share just a few more things. I'm also an author. I've written a book on cultural engagement called Becoming All Things. So
oh my gosh, she's done it all. I thought she was done with her intro. She's like, no, I'm just getting started. So we wrote a book. You're like, I'm a doctor. I've also written a book. No big deal.
Yes. And just a few more things. I'm a professor of cultural engagement as well at Wheaton College in Chicago, and a leadership coach that works on helping business, international and domestic business MBA students with cultural engagement at the University of Texas. So that's a little bit of my day job. And my freebie for everyone tuning in is I have an online course. It's called 3 Cultural Marketing Strategies to 10x Your Audience Reach in 30 Days. So I'll share the link for that and a unique promo code for people to opt in for free.
Oh, that's so generous. Thank you so much. You guys definitely have to go grab that. Obviously, Michelle's very knowledgeable. Obviously, I would get anything she's offering, I would take her up on. And then Simone, could you just introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are, what you do, and then if you have a free gift you want to offer, you can go ahead and do that as well.
Yeah. Sorry, I apologize. I just came off of another call, but
you're all good. It's all good. I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. My name is Simone McNish, and it's very hard to follow that. I'm not an author or a professor, but that's okay.
No, you go all the way off, Simone. Don't do that. Simone's like, oh, V. I'm like, little old V. No. Yeah. We don't do that here. You tell everybody who you are, what you do with your whole chest.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I'm Simone, and I have been a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant over the past 5 years. And I have a specialty working with entrepreneurs and also organizations. So with entrepreneurs, I focus a lot on inclusive content. So how to make sure that your online presence is reflecting that the values that you hold. So if you have values of social justice, inclusivity, equity, how are you promoting those values and making sure that when people step into your online space, that they feel welcoming and they feel they feel welcomed and that they are feeling belonging. So I've worked with different organizations in the government, marketing agencies, art museums, all different types of organizations, and done a lot of speaking engagements and things like that. But I also specialize in inclusive communication and making sure that when we are talking to other people, either solo or when we're talking to groups of people, that we're including as many people as possible.
I love that. Well, thank you guys so much for being here and taking the time. I think I'm just so excited to have this conversation with you guys because this is something like I'm really working on. And I love what you said too about like, it's one thing, like I think we all probably have a value of wanting people to feel included and wanting people of color and LGBTQ people to feel like safe and included in our communities. But a lot of times it's like, well, what does that look like in my course? And like, how do I actually do that? And what are things like you can actually do? So I'd love like for you guys, for people that are like, yeah, you know what, like, I really want to make sure like I'm reflecting these values, what are some easy things people can start doing to make just programs and spaces feel more inclusive and welcoming for people?
I think, well, I don't, if I
Oh,
can
no, go ahead.
We'll get to everybody. We'll give everybody a turn.
Yeah, I think starting off, something that seems obvious, I think, for us, because we're here talking about it, is to be vocal about what your values are, to take the time to actually define your values as a leader. And I think that a lot of times, especially small business owners, they just assume. They do a lot of assuming that because they're talking about one thing, or because they have talked about, how they're inclusive or something, that they don't need to clearly define their values on their website, on their social media platforms, and really take time as much as possible to go back to those values and explain what they mean and how those values are operationalized in their business. And so I think that's a really simple step that all business owners should be doing, is defining their values and defining exactly how those values are practiced on a day-to-day basis. I probably see like 1 out of 10 entrepreneurs that I work with have any set values that they actually talk about. So I think that's a really great opportunity.
Yeah, I love that you said that. I'm like, I don't think we have that on my website. Like, my website's pretty sparse.
Mhm.
But I'm like, we don't have that. But now I'm like, my wheels are definitely turning about, well, what could we add to make sure when people go to the website that they know what we stand for, right? And they know the values that we have in our programs. So I'm so glad you brought that up. I think that's a really good point of just like really defining it and making sure it's publicly put somewhere where people can find it, right?
Yeah.
And then what about you, Michelle? What do you think as far as like, what are some, like maybe some just little get started steps people could do? Because I think one of the things that's challenging for me about this conversation is a lot of times when I start thinking about this stuff, it can feel overwhelming, right? And it's like there's so many different things to do and so much to learn and so many places where I'm not educated. And like, what are some easy like steps people could take to make sure their programs are more inclusive?
Yeah. Well, I think an easy first question to ask is just, which cultures am I not serving in my business,
Ooh.
right? One of the questions that every business should ask themselves is, do all of my clients look like me? Are they all of the same ethnic heritage as me? Because if so, you're leaving a lot of money on the table and your ideal client pool is actually way smaller than it should be. And if you only know how to attract people that look like you, that are in the same life stage as you, that have had the same experiences, like your business is not going to be able to scale in any impactful way. So when it comes to the conversation of diversifying your products or your services, this is where doing strategic market research really comes into play. Really being able to ask the questions to figure out how can you better serve a more diverse clientele. For example, like how can you diversify your messaging to have greater cross-cultural appeal?